Hello, everyone. Welcome to SEO Unmasked, episode number 57. Today is January 24th of 2019. Glad to have you with us, as always. I'm Garrett Groff.
I'm Vintaletta.
Steve Brownlee.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but it's fucking cold up in Minnesota.
That's pretty pleasant here. A little warm front coming in. It's going to be a nice, I guess, like 50 Fahrenheit for you guys, something like that.
We got our cold blast last week. It was frigid, but it's not too bad right now over here. Just rainy and muddy.
Oh, how cold is frigid in New York?
It was like 16 degrees.
Let me pull it up right now. What it is here? Load. It's -2 with a wind chill of -23.
It's time for you to move south a little bit, buddy, I think.
Yeah, I think I need to buy another house in Florida.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, this global warming thing isn't working out too well for you.
Here's what you do, Garrett. We'll take out about 20 different credit cards for you, and we'll use that for the down payment on a new house.
Does it work like that?
Yeah, and Vin said it works like that.
Well, Chase, you can apply it to statement credit. So I mean, I guess your new kitchen or something you can.
I was actually asking because I've been looking at buying a new pickup. I asked one of the dealers, "Are you allowed to use a credit card for a down payment?" Because like if I can, I'll put like the 10 grand down on my Amex business card and get 10,000 MRs. And they're like, let me look. And then he emailed back and he's like, you're only allowed to put up to 3,000 down on a credit card. And I'm like, what if I show you my bank account balance saying I have the money? They're like, no, banks just won't let you do it because they can't trust you that like you don't even have the money. I'm like, well, all right, so fuck it. That was interesting, I guess.
I'm pretty sure American Express would let you do it. They just don't want to take it because
no, it's not the actual card. It's the way the guy was trying to explain to me, like the bank that's going to finance my $6,000 truck would say, how can we trust you? Like you're saying you have the money in your account. So the reason why I said I would give them a bank statement that has more than that amount in there. I guess a lot of people go to a dealership and just put 3 grand down on a new car with their credit card. So now all of a sudden they're adding an extra $200 a month to their payment, and maybe they can't afford the car payment now or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That sounds pretty dumb, but whatever, I guess. Well, I guess while we're on the topic, I guess Vin can give us a quick update since he wasn't here last week. I'll start with a super quick summary because he's done the first bit. We have to do a blog post now before we talk too much more, but we're going to get Vin to Brighton SEO virtually for free in premium style. And we're going to blog about it so you guys can all come and join us in September and we'll buy you dinner. So Vin's done step 1. So what did you have to do for step 1, Vin?
I went ahead and we got the Hilton's Honor American Express. Got credit. Well, I didn't get the 100,000 points yet. I had to spend $1,000. So I picked up some items for the office and some other odds and ends that I knew I needed and spent the $1,000. So now I'm just waiting for that to update with the 100,000 points. And then I can go ahead and book my...
We've got an extra 20,000 points on the free card because Garrett referred him. So
right.
Always get a referral from an American Express cardholder. Hint, if you don't know anyone, I just told you who you can ask. But one of your friends has got an Amex card. Get someone to refer you, or find someone if you don't know someone. Don't find someone random on a forum though. That doesn't work. Very well. Make sure it's someone who doesn't just spam their referral link all over the place.
Garrett, did you get your points for my referral?
Yep, I got 20,000 Hilton points.
That showed up already?
Oh yeah, it must have been as soon as you got accepted for the card.
Nice.
I immediately went to Amazon and
now I'm gonna get 7 points per dollar spent on the $1,000, right?
Yeah, you'll get an extra whatever the card pays. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So it looks like I'll be sleeping for free and
Yeah, that should be enough for a few nights at the Hilton.
Yeah, yeah. So next up, we gotta figure out the travel credit cards, which I'll do immediately, and
yeah. So we'll cover that in a bit more detail on next week's show. We'll have the blog post explaining step 1 and showing you Vin's recommended redemption. Couple of screenshots just showing you guys how to do that, and we'll share the link to that in next week's show. So try and keep the discussion as actionable and quick as possible on the show, and then give you guys more detail on the blog post. And you can all join us in Brighton for a free dinner.
Best part about it is I kind of been looking around, and just adding the credit card did increase my, what is it, credit to debt ratio, or the credit usage ratio? Utilization ratio. So I'm actually going to get in a few months a boost to my credit score, because
my credit score went up tons when I got the Starwood preferred guest card, because they gave me an absurd credit limit which put my utilization down to like 2% or something.
Yeah.
My credit score went up like 32 points.
This is bringing me back to Credit Marvel days when I had to research all this stuff. But I think they want you under 30% credit to debt ratio and under 10% credit utilization.
You want to stay way below it though, really.
Yeah.
If you think about your typical premium credit card holder, you get a whole bunch of cards with like 8 to 20,000 limits. I mean, if you've got 10 cards and you're anywhere near 30%, you're you're running up some quite big balances there. You probably want to rein that in a little bit.
Currently, I'm like ranging between like 750 and 810 right now. So I'm just trying to eke out little marginal wins here that probably don't matter anyway. It's cool to see what works. It's just like SEO, split testing.
Yeah, don't split test your credit score. So I tried not paying any bills for 6 months just to see what would happen. And I compared that to, oh wait, I can't get any new credit cards now.
What else is going on with you guys? Any work stuff?
It seems like we've really consolidated, like with all big contracts, and we have way less smaller people than we used to. This year's it's become like, we did kind of an analysis, and just constantly through last year, our average order size now is getting pretty close to 5 a month.
Yeah.
Whereas our average order size 12 months ago was about 2.5 to 3. So seems like we're doing better at attracting bigger customers. With
do you find that there's a new set of challenges with those customers as far as their expectations?
Yeah, they seem to like talking to me.
Yeah.
Garrett's had to write a few reports out because he's better at the quick analysis without it taking. I'll take like 3 weeks doing it, and he's like, no. There's 10 bullet points, send them that, which is much better. So yeah, there's been some challenges, but I mean, I think the people with the bigger budgets tend to be more, I mean, no disrespect to anyone small building their own site, but they're kind of trying to do everything, aren't they? So their eye's not necessarily on, whereas the people with the bigger budgets, it's like some head of SEO at a company or something. They've only got their focus on one thing.
Yeah.
So they tend to be a lot more straightforward with what they want and clear with their instructions, which helps, I think.
Yeah. I find that those middle management, head of SEO guys at the bigger clients, that they pretty much don't listen to your sales spiel at all, or what you offer, and they're just assuming a certain service. So that's kind of like a challenge we're facing. It's because, I'm saying I'm giving you XYZ, and then I deliver, and they're like, well, where's ABC? We never discussed ABC. So it's not really too troublesome. It's more of just a headache to get on the same page.
Well, I can't say how I deal with that one on the air. Actually, I can without naming them. So We only really have one competitor that deals with enterprise-sized clients at scale. So if someone gives us too much trouble, they're a lot more expensive than us. I refer them to them, and after they receive their quote, they understand my position better.
Yeah, I hear you.
And it doesn't always work, but I mean, Garrett's friends of those guys, so if we send them a little bit of business here and there that we couldn't help, that's all fine too. So
yeah,
but most of the time, people realize why I can't do what they want at my price when they find out what price it costs to get the weird things they want.
I guess that's the advantage of having really just one other competitor as opposed to a field of competitors that.
Well, we have multiple competitors, but some of them are, well, I mean,
competitors.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more on one of the other topics. So I won't go on about it on this one. But yeah, I mean, I think they're not really competitors in the enterprise market because they're a joke. But I'll discuss that further later on in the show.
Cool. So tomorrow we're going. What's that?
Someone had tweeted me, and I'm sorry I can't remember your name. I'll pull it up, but I think a while ago I started that case study from the Candle site, building links to it. Kind of falling off the edge of the radar for me. I know the team does a few links a month to it, just keep things going, and it does rank for some stuff. It ranks for a lot of link baity type stuff about like candle safety and cool stuff like that, but nothing that makes us any money yet. So I said next week I will do an update properly.
Cool.
Yeah,
my site, we're working on an opportunity model for the biggest silo in the vertical. So we basically looked at all the keywords within the silo, and there was hundreds of them. We looked at what our potential revenue would be for over 12 to 18 months compared to our content and link costs to rank that content. So we were able to cut down a lot of the keywords because they just wouldn't be profitable, and we're left with a good handful of keywords that we can create content around and hopefully make our money back within 12 months. So that's the project we're working on. There's a lot of upfront data research and manipulation, but hopefully it's going to keep some money in my pocket and help bring in revenue faster.
Yeah.
We got Traffic Think Tank this weekend, Traffic Think Tank Live.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm headed down to Philly tomorrow. Should be cool. It's just a quick one-day deal like we did in Minnesota. And was that 1 day or two? That was just 1 day, Minnesota, right? Or two? I forget.
It's 1 day, but I think you guys missed the pre-party the day before.
Yeah. So it'll be cool.
I'll be in for the pre-party this time. I'll be joining you guys there.
Are you coming to Minnesota too?
Yeah, already booked.
Awesome. That'll be a good time.
Yeah, I'm flying Delta out. First Delta transatlantic flight since 2009. So I'll be pretty excited to check it out.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just taking the good old Amtrak down to Philadelphia tomorrow. Got the.
Well, you're always on a train.
Yeah. This one's 100 minutes in first class. Apparently, I get a free meal in first class, and yeah,
I do like first class on the train. The ones that do it properly. The Gatwick Express first class that Garrett and I experienced was interesting.
Yeah, I heard all about that.
yeah. So it's a bit of a shock when you've traveled down to London on the Virgin trains first class and been getting a meal and free wine and gin and tonics, and then you get on the Gatwick Express first class and the Wi-Fi's broken and there's not even a drinks cart.
Sucks.
Yeah, it wasn't good, man. In the chat, we've got Jernburn, Abbott Travel, and we got some new guy that hasn't been in the chat for a while. This Hobster guy's back. Hey, Hobster.
Who's that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of traveling, Mr. Jernburn here just flew from Minneapolis down to Fort Myers on Frontier, and it sounds like it did not go swimmingly.
Well, that's not even a real airline. So
Yeah, Frontier fucking sucked, man.
I warned him.
It's like saying you rode your donkey down to Philadelphia or something. It's not a practical way of traveling.
Frontier should be for like puddle jumping flights only. Like those quick, like 45-minute flights. Anything above that, and
even then, I think you've got to drink like 15 gin and tonics in the priority pass lounge just to prepare yourself for the shock of the flight.
Yeah, I had similar experiences on both Frontier and Spirit Airlines. And Spirit Airlines was the one that kind of coaxed me into splurging on airfare because it was just not good.
Well, Garrett flew Sun Country down to Las Vegas, and while he was away, they decided they were going to do away with first class. So on his return flight, he received a luxurious economy seat with with a free drink.
That story blew my mind, but
that's pretty funny.
Don't
worry though, Jern. If you follow along, you'll be able to travel for free on points and miles and never experience that big thing again.
Yeah. Well, should we get into whatever the hell we're talking about tonight?
Yeah, let's get into the news.
Yeah.
So it looks like Google wants to take over your ad accounts, and just do what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more towards, they're just continuing the trend that we spoke about it on the show before when they first started trying to, because everyone just defaulted to exact match, and then they wanted to try and broad match everyone's keywords. So there was all this wank included for no good reason. And obviously it makes them more money, but because you're getting more impressions, but it's not really ideal for the advertisers. I mean, you want to maintain complete control over it.
Right.
And restrict your impressions to just what's converting. You don't want Google optimizing by testing some additional ways for you to waste your budget, and maybe some of it will work. So I think people need to be switching off any of these features as soon as they come out. So if you're running Google pay-per-click ads, which you guys probably know by now, we are approximately 0% believers that that's a good place to spend your money. Like if you work for a massive multinational and it's the last place you can spend the last 100 million of your $1 billion ad budget or something, by all means go ahead. But for anyone with less than $1 billion budget, if you can't find something better to spend the rest of it on, all right, well, give us a shout. I'll help you waste it on things that are much less wasteful than that.
It's funny that this was the first topic you guys chose today, because I think Facebook is doing this too. And I figured that out because I just stumbled upon it because we're doing the restaurant, and I had set up the Facebook account for the restaurant, and they're hitting me hard with get going on your promoted ads and all that. So I just went through the process just to see what it was like, and they literally bring you to a screen that's do you want Facebook to do your ads for you, or do you want to customize your ads yourself? And if you do Facebook's choice, it's the same thing. You just enter a budget amount in for you, and they choose the headline, the text, and the image.
Really?
And they just run the budget. Every day they'll just run through a budget. So I guess that would be like helpful just for like mom and pop.
What ad would it do though? How does it know what you want? Like you put your word agent's ad and it just picks a picture of a girl in a bikini.
Well,
that gets good likes.
I guess I just put in that it's a restaurant and the style of food and the location, and I guess like the radius of where I want to advertise, and then it just takes it and does it.
Well, I mean, that sounds like next week's review sorted. That's an owner of a restaurant. You can test a quick. Well, we'll give you the credit card to do it on first, and you can clear a bonus testing.
We're not doing any promotions just yet, but the suggested daily ad budget was $3. So I don't know if that means that clicks are extremely low.
You're gonna have to do like $100 or something to clear your next bonus. So
yeah.
Grind out a big spend.
But I saw that and laughed to myself. I was like, why would anybody want Facebook choosing your advertisements for you? Just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I remember someone I know is like an obsessive, like about. I mean, I'm pretty bad about all the psychology stuff and using the right words in every conversation and all this kind of thing. But he was worse than me, and he found all this stuff about how pictures of human eyes are really irresistible. So all of his Facebook ads were like bizarre close-ups of like human eyes. And, like, and he'd put different color filters over them all. So you'd have an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, solid test, like all these different color filters. But it was for Vin's business. It was for writing work. It was a picture of this creepy eye staring at you as the Facebook ad.
I had a colleague, I guess you would say, that would split test images for advertisements, and he swore that pictures of pretty girls looking like not looking at the camera, looking away from the camera, are the top converting pictures you can use in advertisements. I don't know how true that is, but that's what he swore by, and every single ad he did was just that, different pretty girls not looking at the camera.
It's not just that's actually a kind of proven thing. There's a reason whenever you saw Obama speaking, he would always be staring up and above and away from the camera, so he was never looking at the audience. It's some power. I forget the whole detail of that now, but it's actually a powerful psychological effect that you feel like the person's kind of looking above you or whatever rather than at you. It's more effective.
That's interesting. Maybe if I do a little Facebook test, we'll try something out like that. A pretty girl eating a bowl of ramen.
A picture of you looking this and test that against a bikini girl looking away from the camera.
Sounds good.
Obama.
So what I didn't really get this next one about the women versus men in the SEO list. Like what's going on here? Is this girl complaining?
Oh yeah, no. This is the one I was going to say some stuff about the SEO industry.
Oh, okay, good. Go ahead, man.
Obviously the main guy, Callis 1987, he's ripping on Rand, which is how I picked up this tweet in the first place. He goes on to share some sexist shit that Rand did at a conference and things like that. But the main gist of this is like you're looking at a list of who's in this industry, and she's like, "Oh, we've got to change it." I mean, everything every good SEO is doing is trying to leave the industry. I mean, look at Joe Sinkwitz. He started in Influence. That Greenbaum chap started Whisker Cloud. You know, all the top people kind of either become rich just doing their own thing, and you don't really hear from them, or they leave the industry and do something big somewhere else. I don't think this is an industry that people should be telling their daughters, "Oh yeah, get into SEO." This is
you shouldn't be telling anyone to get into it.
Well, yeah, especially you shouldn't be telling anyone. So I don't know that, and I think there's two main reasons why there's less women on this list. One, they're both part of the same reason. 80% of our industry are complete frauds, shysters, and incompetent morons, which is a really sad thing to say, but it's true. And like, look in our little bit of the industry, just in link building, 3 of the biggest link building companies lie to their customers and lie on their websites about what they actually do. Just straight up lie. They're selling paid links as outreach. They're selling hack links as outreach. And that's 3 huge players, really big companies. And if you look at crime statistics, you'll see that men are much more predisposed to being comfortable with committing crime than women. And I think in business, there's been a lot of research that shows generally women are more straightforward and honest in business behavior than men as well. So there's 2 big traits that women don't have that make them not fit in with this mess of an industry that we have. So my take on it is that, it may not be as high as 80%, but I think it's probably pretty close of people that don't know what they're doing in this industry or are trying to scam someone in some way. Certainly out of all the famous people in the industry, it's 80%. if women are less predisposed to crime and more likely to be honest and straightforward in their business dealings than men, you would definitely expect there to be less women on this list, because the only women that are going to be on this list are going to be competent professionals for the most part, who aren't part of the scamming brigade. So imagine if you strip out the men that are, as this guy's tweeting about, woke 2019 feminist boys or outright fucking idiots. Imagine if you strip them out, it probably is about 50-50 competent professionals between men and women. But because of all the male shysters in our industry, it makes up, it bulks the list up a little bit with men. But I think this chap's onto something. If we eliminate those people, the balance probably isn't as incorrect as it should be. As it is, as it appears to be.
Good point.
But yeah, if you're a woman in SEO, please don't go around telling other women to join this awful industry. And if you're a man in SEO, don't go around telling men, women, children, dogs, you can probably safely tell to join this industry. They can outperform the average SEO if they just kind of drool on the keyboard a little bit. We've lost a couple of viewers though, so we better move on from
Well, I know this next one is you too. The SEO by the Sea article.
No, this one isn't. The SEO by the Sea is Garrett, I think.
Man, I know this guy is smart, and I'll let you jump into it, Garrett. But the talk about the patents just makes my eyes glaze over.
Yeah, like honestly, I can't. I just kind of skimmed through this article. It's interesting, but which one of these paragraphs? Okay, so the first number one, receiving in a search engine system a query, the query comprising query text submitted by a user, searching a first collection of resources to obtain one or more first search results, wherein each of the one or more first search results has a respective first search result score. Searching a second collection, I don't know, it's just like, I can't think like that. I have to map things out visually and like.
It does say here though that the chap whose name's on this patent wrote a search engine land article which is linked within it, an insider's view of Google Universal Search, and kind of goes through it with some pictures and screenshots and stuff, which I think that's probably what I would read instead of the patents.
Yeah, Bill did say that this article is just a look at the patent and isn't meant to give you any actionable takeaways from it. It's just he's just showing you that they have continued the patent and what that means in a very literal sense.
Well, let me read the TLDR of this chap, David Bailey's article. He says, so that's where we stand today. Relevance is still key. We have more engineers than ever working on search, and it continues to be at the heart of what we do. There are many open questions in universal search, and it will be quite interesting to watch Google and the other major search engines explore the possibilities. But along the way, there are a few things you can count on from Google. Our search engine will remain fast, the user interface will remain simple, and above all, we'll continue to deliver the most comprehensive and relevant results to the best of our abilities. So it's a technological improvement that they're trying to patent, but from a conceptual, high-level SEO's thinking, you're still just looking at relevance and making sure what you're trying to get into the results, whether you're trying to get a snippet, whether you're trying to get a video ranked, whether you're trying to get a page ranked normally in the old organic search, it's just all relevance.
Yeah.
And that's all they're trying to improve. So that my takeaway from this whole thing was just that you could just read that paragraph at the end.
Yeah, that's kind of like my point with his articles. You can do a TLDR on most of everything in one paragraph and get the gist of what you need to know.
It's like all this TF IDF stuff about with content writing. You can summarize that with the title of this as well. Relevance is still key.
Yeah. Sure.
Pretty much, you can go more advanced and get an extra 2% of 300 hours of consulting time on an enterprise site, and that's worth it. But for most people, if you just think relevance is still key, and we've said it on the show a dozen times, but if you think that way, you're going to always perform better than people that don't understand any of the stuff, do it wrong, and end up with some abortion of an article with terrible writing. But it's got the right frequencies of something that they don't understand.
I mean, that could probably be a topic for another show. All these new, I don't know, SEO optimizers like Quora and Surfer SEO and Page Optimizer Pro, and even Market Muse. Market Muse is.
Did you end up trying any of them yet?
No, I will be. That'll be my project in the spring this year for my site. To go back and re-optimize some of the keywords that are sitting on the second page. So I'll definitely be trying at least one of those tools. But my fear is, and I think I've said to you, Garrett, before, is just that when you're using these tools, all they're doing is basically doing some math by tearing apart the top 20 results for a keyword and spitting out the results. So your analysis is only on the currently ranking sites that exist today.
I was going to say, I'm curious if anyone's. I see in a lot of the Facebook groups, a lot of people swear by Quora and Page Optimizer Pro and that Surfer thing. Has anyone done any sort of study over like a year and a half or something, 2 years, where they've been using one of these tools and you weed out any other influence like links or something, use Page Optimizer Pro, all of a sudden you go from page 3 to page 1 by using this tool. You fix up your content. Does that stick for a while? Does something happen where that Page Optimizer Pro guy got his claim to fame because he ranked a lorem ipsum page and put the keyword in there like 10 times? And how long does that stick before you get a penalty? Like, obviously no one's being that extreme, but it seems to me like I don't know, these tools.
That's a good point. I haven't really thought about it from a black hat perspective. I've just been thinking about how it can improve my white hat content, but I'm sure that a tool like that exposes some loopholes in the algorithm.
Well, I think as well, the reason a lot of these Facebook people see good results from it is because they can't A/B test it against a well-written page, because most of the people in these groups are idiots. So their original page is terrible, and they apply some formulaic fixes to it.
Something I want to piggyback onto that is a lot of people that I see using these tools are using it in the local space, where I will firmly say local generally isn't very competitive for the most part. There are very competitive niches like locksmith or water damage or similar shit. However, I see a lot of these people spending a bunch of money on these tools where I just don't think it's necessary to rank well in local search by doing all this extra work.
Yeah.
And you can just build a few links and you're done. If that.
I know Andrew that we met in Vegas, and he came out to dinner with us. Andrew from Raven Tools. He tracks this pretty closely, and he uses the tool on all the blog posts for the Raven Tool blogs, and he's been having really good results with it. But that brings up another point. Raven Tools is a very high domain authority domain within the vertical of SEO tools. So how much does that authority play into the success of the re-optimization?
The articles were probably pretty good to start with.
Yeah, he attacks articles that are stuck on page 2 and 3, and then he's been seeing them jump up to page 1.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So that kind of contradicts my point then. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's been having good results with it for sure, and we're doing some of the writing for them, so we're trying to integrate that from the beginning, just by using those. Instead of re-optimizing the page, we're just looking at those reports and trying to build our content around that from the start. So that'll see how that'll be cool to see how that works out. But I don't think it's my point being is I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all tool. I think there's other external variables that will determine your success or failure.
I did a live test during the show this week, and the 15 minutes before, I promoted the show on Twitter with our so I set up, I put the tweet out, I set it up as an ad. I picked an audience that was anyone lookalike audiences for Search Engine Land, Search Engine Journal, blah 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 blah. Told me it was this huge audience. Gave it a budget of like 50 quid just to see what would happen, and we had 158 impressions just in 45 minutes and 40p spent. So, and I found that before trying to advertise on Twitter, like you pick some massive audience, but none of them are kind of really active on Twitter at the time you're trying to advertise. I remember, what's his name? The guy from like WordStream or whatever that moved on and does some Facebook chatbot software now, with Larry Kim. He spoke about it at a conference, how he had this journalist list and he would advertise to them and it would get WordStream coverage now and then. So I thought, oh, that sounds like really smart. So I got this, thousands of journalists into an audience and tried advertising to them. And I was getting like 4 impressions a day of this massive list of 6,000 journalists or something. Just because they weren't going on Twitter and seeing the ad ever. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of hard to spend money on Twitter on ads. If the audience is just because people kind of go on, they have their little chats, then they disappear. It's kind of difficult to get sucked into Twitter, isn't it? I know from my use, I go on for like 10 minutes a day, reply to a few people, say hi to a couple of people, then disappear.
I feel like Twitter is an instant gratification.
That's why I wanted to test it for the show, just to see if people that were loitering would jump on, but only 158 people were loitering.
We should, and maybe on the next one, I'll throw some cash in, but maybe we advertise on Reddit for they have those little banner ads that you can buy for.
Yeah, let's advertise on our big SEO or something, or our internet marketing, and
and just see what comes through. Our entrepreneur is really good. I've had some really good conversations over there too, and most of those guys are SEOs, even if they don't consider themselves to be. So I think we'll probably have a better success rate.
Yeah, let's do Reddit next week. We'll do a different. We're going to test a different ad platform every week for a while and see what happens with some big budgets.
Jared wants to know why internet marketers don't decorate our walls. We're all sitting in blank rooms.
What has he got on his walls?
I think he's got a well decorated office. We're just slackers.
If you notice, I have a fake plant in the corner.
Yeah, I'll just be vague and say I'm too busy making money. But that's
Vin's got some big blue football thing on his on his wall. Is that not enough for you, man? Like, what does he have to do?
I actually have some artwork that I bought over the past year that I need to have frames, but I just can't be fucked doing it.
I've got all my other frames right there in the corner, but they've been sitting there since I moved in a year and a half ago.
Yeah, Vin's current setup for his frame stuff is pretty similar to mine. Like I have a vintage British Empire map that I used to have up in my old office. I haven't put up yet, but we're looking at houses to buy at the minute and move again. So,
congrats, man! That's awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So it's kind of like I just now I've got to the point where I've been same as Vin, like a year and a half, 2 years after moving into this office. I haven't put them up yet. Putting them up for the last 6 months or a year or however long it takes us to find somewhere we want to buy doesn't seem appealing now. So I'm sure at the next place they'll go up.
But, you know what it is? Like this kind of stuff is like in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, that'll be a weekend project. But if I look at my fucking calendar, I see that I have like 1 week in a month free, not doing anything or not spoken
for already. Do I really want to deal with this shit? Nah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I usually just hang out with my dog and relax the whole weekend for that 1 week in a month. But
shit, you don't even have kids yet.
Yeah, well, he's kind of like a kid, but I know what you mean.
I don't know, man. Wait, you just wait.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
you
not lose
just
any
wait.
other watchers shit talking children.
Oh man,
Yeah,
no,
no,
they
probably
all know our pain, man. Like I think 90% of SEOs have kids. Certainly from our customers, it seems to be the way, man. Like it's let's just do some comments. The Hobster says, "Mer feminism."
Oh, God.
Do you want to expand that a little bit, or is that all we've got?
No,
For
I think we should just leave
no,
that.
I don't mean us. I mean the Hobster. I feel like that's not enough depth for us to really comment on that one.
Let's jump into the next.
yeah, Barry over at the roundtable is reporting that Rank Ranger, the
Rank Tracker,
whatever the fuck it's called, they can now monitor certain parts of the hotel pack data, which I don't, as far as I know, Ahrefs certainly doesn't do it.
No.
So Serpoo? No, of course not.
I don't know. I haven't looked at any hotel results in Serpoo because we're not really in the hotel space.
Yeah. We will be soon, though.
I imagine that's a good feature for guys in the space doing local, though, or any hotel topic. Always nice to have more data in a centralized source than having to go to multiple tools to get the data you need.
Yeah,
so
yeah, definitely.
It's a cool little feature that they're doing.
Yeah.
The next one kind of blew my mind, though. Google says we know when domain names change ownership. What do you take away from that?
They must do, because everyone kind of thought that would be the case. Why they became a domain registrar was to get access to ICANN's records. That was the kind of the rumor. As soon as they became a domain registrar, that was what everyone in SEO circles was talking about. Well, they're going to just know everything about who owns domains now that normally they couldn't get access to because it was private.
So they're saying that if you're buying an old domain to pick up on their rankings, don't bother. But I think this is purposely vague, because if you buy a domain in your niche and they have an article and you want to redirect that to an article on your site on the same topic, you're absolutely going to get those rankings.
I think like all of these things, the final thing just kind of sums it up. But if you simply want any direct traffic, I don't see any issue from Google's side. But you may want to think from a user's perspective, i.e., are they getting what they came for? So, like,
Jared said they're only ones that are expired and they have dropped. And you should be fine if.
Yeah.
No, there's a difference between expired and dropped. He's saying get the ones that haven't dropped yet.
Yeah.
And expired, because people use these tools to scour expired domain lists to look for domains that have links and traffic. And I guess maybe they just officially closed that loophole. But if you can get one that hasn't dropped yet in that pre-drop phase, or if you just buy a domain from, through Thomas.
Well, I experimented with this with drop domains a while back, and I'm sure Google's tightened up since then. But if you bought which and like Google's saying here, is it are they getting what they came for? So I bought a drug harm reduction related site and put stop smoking stuff on it. Very similar topic. That worked really well. Bought a school, let their domain expire. We put an education site on there. That did really well. We bought a business's site and put a make money online thing on there. That Google de-indexed it after a month. So we bought, and the experiment goes like that. Like if you buy a domain to integrate into your business that makes sense, and it's going to be used for something really similar, and it's a plausible purchase, like American Airlines merging with US Air, like that makes sense. Like American Airlines merging with British American Tobacco.
Right.
A little bit more of a merger,
that's
the shareholders would be like, well, what the hell do you know about tobacco?
Yeah.
Well, actually, British American Tobacco would be the major partner in that. They'd be like, what the hell do you know about running an airline? American Airlines doesn't even make a profit. Well, a measly $1 billion. like some kind of peasants. They made less money than JetBlue. Delta made 4 times the profit of American Airlines. And American Airlines is supposedly the world's biggest airline. JetBlue makes more profit than them. So yeah, British American Tobacco would be the main. You know, that's my take on it. I think the Hobster's right. You want to try and pick up bargains in your industry that haven't dropped yet. There's loads of ways to do that. If you're looking to, you know, people that have stopped blogging, they might, you know, you can preserve their content or get more traffic. They can get some money in their pocket. You can find people that are prepared to do that deal, and it hasn't dropped. It's much cleaner as long as it's relevant. If you go around buying random crap just to try and get their links, and it's all just, and then you're going to 301 it all to the homepage and stuff like that. Yeah. I think you're setting yourself up for not getting the results you hope for your money.
Without getting into the actual details, there's ways to make it work, and there's ways to make it not work. And for the
Nick Eubanks did a case study on this, didn't he? I'm sure he did.
Oh yeah, the SEO osmosis. All those guys, they still do this to this day. But yeah, 301 works. And what just happened a couple weeks ago in drug rehab with that site that just popped up overnight for addiction? Wasn't the consensus that they just mass 301'd like hundreds or thousands of domains and obtained the, you know, basically churned and burned the website? So if that happened just a few weeks ago, maybe this is a response because of that. But I call it bullshit. I think in certain scenarios it doesn't work, but if you're smart about it, you'll get some value out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what my test kind of showed.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason we don't do it is to get to a couple of hundred linking domains on a new domain for us is pretty easy for us to do. So going through the hassle of finding expired domains that we want, buying them. I would only buy one if it was like a super awesome brand, but then that's a whole different game from the SEO side, I guess. So that's just straight up sensible domaining. I wouldn't buy one for, oh, it's got 100 good links or something. Like, you just build 100 links. Because they'll be more relevant to whatever you're doing. Like the ones they've got won't be perfect for you.
Yeah. We've been looking at, I'm creating somewhat of a database of old brands in our vertical that still have a website up but are no longer in business. And we have to do some data research on those to see, take a look at all their backlinks, filter out the shit backlinks, and determine what we can buy the site for compared to what the link acquisition cost would be to just build those links on our own.
Very smart. I like it.
Right. So if the link acquisition cost is more than buying the site, then we'll go ahead and buy the site, and we get all those links for percentage points less than we would have paid for the links themselves. So lots of different projects I'm starting, but I've got to do them in a smart order to be as effective as possible, quickly as possible.
I find schizophrenic order is the best system.
Yeah, like this. I know that order, like waking up and just doing what you feel like doing that day, and then then you realize that you've done the same thing 7 days in a row.
With me and Garrett, it's always starting a new site.
Yeah.
So we start a lot of new sites, but
when me and Mike, we maintain a list of future site ideas. So every time I see a site that I like, or if I come across a topic that I see as low competition, we just throw it on the list. And the next time we want to go do a site, we'll evaluate the list and see where the best opportunity is, and we'll attack it that way.
That's much better. Maybe we should do that, Garrett. Start every idea and build 200 links.
Yeah, because it's shiny object syndrome. Like you get hyped on, and I get hyped every time I see one of these opportunities. But I should be spending my time on the projects I've already started first.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, who's got the Atlantic article?
Ken Cosgrove. No, not me. Nobody probably got that reference.
Madman.
Yeah.
Amazon ruined online shopping.
So this was just because I only put this one on because Garrett was talking about the other episode, like why does Amazon still keep their affiliate program going? And this is just talking about how users are behaving on Amazon and they're getting confused, they're searching, they can't find any brands that they want because there's so much junk on there. So they go back to Google search and just look for reviews, anything to steer them to what the hell they're supposed to buy to get their problem solved. And I must admit, I was looking, I can't even remember what I was looking for now. Yeah, I can't remember what I was looking for now. Some really simple product. And Amazon just has like 4,000 things that I've never heard of. And it's like, well, I'm not gonna use that. Like it might kill me. What the fuck is this? What's even in it? Like you've got no idea from most of the Amazon listings what the hell's even going to turn up, where it was made, what it's from, because they just have everything on there now, and all these white label monkeys that bought that course and are importing stuff from God knows where, and so I think that's why they need the affiliate program still. So this was just my attempt to answer Garrett's question because none of us could really figure it out. Like Amazon's so big, why do they need affiliates? I think this is why they need affiliates. Their site doesn't offer any easy route to figuring out what the fuck is a real product and what's actually useful to me if it's not something that you already know the brand you're going to buy. Like if I just go on Amazon and type in Toshiba laptop, I'm going to get what I want. If I just type in, Android tablet with like pen thing, stylus, I'm going to get all kinds of weird shit. And you could spend 3 hours on that. So you're going to just go straight back to Google and Google for, best Android tablet with stylus and look at some proper reviews. And in some users will then click through to the Amazon link and buy from the reviews. So I think that's why they need the affiliate program still.
Let me pose this question to you. From a consumer standpoint, would you rather have Amazon in its exact current version as it is today, with all these quote unquote flaws that this guy's pointing out, or would you rather have multiple specialized e-commerce sites by vertical, but many of them, and that they're all, you kind of have to choose different products from different e-commerce sites, and it's not all centralized like Amazon is?
Oh, I wasn't posting this to criticize Amazon. I shop on Amazon a lot. I like it mostly.
Yeah.
But I think this is why they need the affiliate program, because they don't provide the guidance to their buyers which one of these impossible number of options they should actually buy. The affiliates, flawed as the affiliates are, as Garrett's pointed out many times,
they provide context to the user.
They at least narrow your search down to, well, I'll buy one of these three.
Yeah.
And I think Amazon doesn't do that, which is a huge opportunity for them. I'm not an Amazon hater, Hobster. Don't you spread this trash. Amazon's a search rival to Google, therefore I love them.
I've actually, it'll be a long time before I even think about using Amazon's affiliate program. I just feel like it's an exercise in futility, and it's
not a good program for affiliates from what I can tell. But I think the affiliates are good for Amazon, so I think that's kind of answered our previous.
Did you see Gareth Dane roll out that product that's like $30 a month to get a database of affiliate offers, so you can just search through his affiliate offers and pay him $30 a month?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that guy in I think it was a Facebook group that was selling a spreadsheet of the top ranked sites in like a bunch of verticals for $50?
No, I didn't see that one.
People just going through money grabs this week.
Mm.
I was laughing. I'll find it and I'll show it to you. I forget exactly what it was, but it was basically data that anybody could have just by using Google, and he was trying to sell it for $50 a pop.
People have tried to sell us more stupid things than that.
Yeah. What's the next one here?
Apparently, your tweets on Twitter that were supposed to be private were not private.
Yeah, if you made certain changes to your profile, those changes automatically moved your account from private to public unintentionally. So Twitter has come out and apologized, and I said, well, we're gonna figure out why this happened and make sure it doesn't happen again. But there was a period where between November 2014 and January 2019, that certain changes to your profile would make a private profile public.
I think basically you should just assume that everything you share on any social network is public.
Right.
And you can't control your privacy settings because they don't give a shit. Because it's not where they make their money. So they're not investing any money in security. You know, banks get hacked sometimes and lose money, and that's their job, is just security. These people don't even care one little bit. So stop putting shit on social media that you don't want everyone to see. I remember I went to the one time Garrett left a day or two before me in Vegas, and I was kind of just bored at the hotel, finished work. So I went to the Mob Museum because we were staying at the what's it called? The Downtown Grand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's next to the Mob Museum. I went to the Mob Museum, and one of the mafia bosses, when he was arrested, one of his quotes to the press was, "Never say anything anywhere unless you want it to come up in court one day."
Yeah.
And that's your social media thing. Never share anything on social media unless you want everyone to know you shared it one day, because it will not remain private. These people don't care about your security. And in the case of Facebook, you know, from all the stories that came out this year, they were actively selling it to people. They weren't even hacked with Cambridge Analytica and all this kind of stuff.
Well,
Abbott Travel's asking, what date are you guys going to Brighton SEO this year? And is it worth going if I'm learning SEO for my own business? We're going to the September one this year. I think we did April last year.
And it's totally worth it if you want to see SEOs fight each other.
Yeah. There was a fight in April, but no, I mean, Brighton SEO is one of the biggest SEO conferences in the world. It's one of the cheapest SEO conferences in the world. Despite that, the sponsors cover most of the costs. So even if you don't get one of the free tickets, you're only paying like £100 to go to the main conference to see all the presentations. It's definitely trends towards beginner level SEO. So if you're someone like, basically there's two reasons to go to Brighton SEO. If you're like Abbott Travel, who's looking to learn for his own business, the presentations are going to be really good for you because it's beginner level stuff. It's going to take you through a lot of the stuff, like how do you do outreach? How do you do technical SEO? How do you analyze content on a page? And it's really good for experienced SEOs because of the networking. No one's at the conference. All the managers, all the heads of SEO, they're all at the various side parties and events that go on, non-stop drinking basically from the main party right the way through to the after party the day after. So they're the two groups it's good for. If you're kind of an intermediate level SEO that's been made to go by your company, you're not going to get as much out of the presentations because you're already ahead of them, but your company's not going to let you go drinking with all the people you'd like to network with, so you'll miss out on that. So I would say definitely as a beginner or lower intermediate, there's a lot of good presentations. If you're already intermediate or better, it's really good for networking. If you can't do the networking, then probably better to do something like SMX Advanced if you're going to have to go to the presentations, and that's why you're going, because it's going to take you from intermediate to advanced. You're going to get people like Paul Shapiro talking there and stuff who are going to I think you level up if you just look at a picture of Paul, let alone if you go to one of his presentations. But
he's speaking on Saturday at Traffic Think Tank.
that'll probably be the most valuable presentation all day, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's a smart dude. I gotta watch the videos from Tech Boost this year. I don't even know if they're up yet, but I watched the ones from 2017, and those were very, very helpful.
Oh yeah, and Abbott Travel's just around the corner. So yeah, I mean, if you're a few minutes away from the event and it's 97 quid or whatever it is to get in, 100% worth coming along. Pop down for the pre-party too, though, and come join us for some drinks.
Yeah, I agree with you though. After PubCon, I don't think I'll ever buy the ticket that gets me into the lectures anymore. I think at these conferences, as for a service company like us, all we need is really the networking pass and to go out to the dinners afterwards and meetups afterwards.
Well, we only bought our chap Dave. He only bought the networking pass, but he got in all the keynotes, so there was plenty of stuff for him to go and watch.
Yeah.
He likes to catch a few at every event, and there was plenty on the networking pass at PubCon.
Yeah, for sure.
And watch. So
me
missed out on the panels, but
me and Tyler tried to sit down at one of them, and I think we both got up mid lecture and just walked out because eventually those lectures just become live versions of blog posts that we've all read a million times.
No one has anything new. I mean, I've told the Brighton SEO story about this young lady who won like Youth Search Marketer of the Year or something, and she was talking about, oh, I've had this idea, and my husband was like, oh no, don't do that. Everyone will be doing it after you. I was like, this was what everyone was doing in 2009. This isn't a new idea. You have nothing to worry about sharing. There's just, it'll get you from beginner to intermediate, but there's no new information at the higher level except at SMX Advanced and the specific technical SEO conferences.
Right.
And if you want to learn outreach and stuff like that, you're not going to learn it from SEOs. You need to learn it from PR people. So there isn't an SEO conference for you. Like pitching's a PR thing. And, although Verve Search, if you catch some of their people speaking, they share some pretty cool stuff. They're pretty open about what they're doing and how they're pitching things. So I will say Verve Search are worth catching if you see a speaker from there at a conference.
Interesting.
On the outreach side.
Well, this.
So I literally watched a new guy like doing his first presentation at a small event. I forget his name, and apologies, I forget your name. But his presentation was pretty good, and the stuff he shared was pretty awesome. So
yeah,
he's probably their least experienced speaker. So yeah, definitely if you see someone from Verve, it's worth checking them out because they seem pretty open about all their case studies on their website as well. So I think they're just kind of extending it.
It's awesome.
So yeah, there are some speakers worth hearing. It's a shame some of the speakers that used to be worth hearing have gone downhill. I don't want to name those though because that's kind of dirty thing to do. But there are some people who used to just be amazing to hear speak, and they're just terrible now, and they're doing it on purpose because they don't want to share any of their information, and that's kind of sad. Like, just don't speak. Don't waste people's time because, like Vin said, you go in to sit down and then you're stuck there and you're like trying to leave the room without causing.
You know what it is. It's these lectures are really geared towards in-house SEOs at companies, and most of the time an in-house SEO really isn't a professional SEO. They're just doing SEO for the company. So I'm sure they get a lot of value.
That sounds unnecessarily harsh.
I've spoken to a lot of them. It's just, you know, the guys that could do the HubSpot courses and Digital Marketer HQ courses.
Oh no, that's where you're making a mistake. You're not speaking to SEOs. You're speaking to inbound monkeys.
Yeah. But I'm sure whatever you want to call them, those type of people get some value out of these lectures.
Well, they get to understand the exceptional value of their HubSpot subscription.
Exceptional value.
Well, I mean, just for a few hundred to a few thousand a month, you can get a platform that's identical to, basically has the functionality of WordPress, but's more difficult to use, and you don't know what to do with it. But what you can do is you can hire a partner agency for another 10,000 a month, and they'll help you use it, right? Are you not tempted to get word agents on board now?
I don't know.
Just think of all the business you'd be getting from your inbounding.
Their CRM actually is maybe worth a look, but there's plenty of other CRMs out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you guys get through this link ranking factor study?
Yeah, if you guys remember last year, he put out a pretty similar article. It's basically just like the bottom half of this article is the same shit from last year, and then he's just updated the numbers for 2018.
Just like we said with the other article that relevance is important, we can boil this one down to yes, links are important.
Well, SEO is easy. You need words and links.
What I thought was best about this case study is their what does he call it? Like a simple mock-up of the Google algorithm. How they show how different ranking factors like relevance score, quality score, link score, all integrated together against each other drastically change the rankings, so that not any one score is going to get you to the top. You have to have a balanced approach across all of the metrics in order to be in that top three spots for a keyword. So I thought that was pretty interesting, but everything else is just a very detailed look using data to say that links do matter and they are relevant in 2019. Somebody should send it to that guy. What's his face, Garrett?
Chase Reiner.
Yeah.
Oh man, that guy. He's still streaming away in his weird setup. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll show you.
There is a method to his madness. I don't know how much money he's actually making. I guess not much, but he does have the newbie market pretty well locked down now. Everybody loves him.
If you shaved your beard off, you could lock down the newbie market. Vin still has the lockdown the newbie market beardlessness going on. Vin could lock down any newbie he wanted at any time.
Simply because I can't grow a beard.
Yeah, well, you can't lock down the newbie market with a beard.
Got it.
They don't identify with you. Like, they can't grow a beard yet. They're only 23. Although in Minnesota, everyone has a beard, like even if they're 14. So I don't know, maybe in Minnesota, Garrett could lock down the newbie market.
Yeah, apparently they need the extra insulation with negative 0 temperatures.
Yeah, I'd learn how to grow a better fucking beard if I lived in.
I really need to trim this, but it's so fucking windy out and cold. It's like, god damn.
Yeah. I understand why Canadians love their beards when you see the temperatures they deal with in winter, like Garrett deals with. It's like, Jesus, I wouldn't shave the fucker off either in that temperature. Why have we got an article here that mentions Spark Toro?
Yeah. I didn't know if this was a joke or not. And it's on.
Is this a serious article?
Yeah, I put it up there. I was hoping someone would say anything, but
TLDR, mobile organic clicks declined roughly 10 points between 2016 and 2018.
So is desktop.
I think that's to be assumed with all of the rich snippets and the knowledge graph and all those cards and all that shit. I think we all know that. In certain SERPs, you don't even get organic results.
That premise is true, right? And I agree with you. Yeah, for all these new things that have been brought out, like knowledge graphs, snippets, and all that shit. And only 10% of click-throughs gone.
It's pretty good news for us, I think.
Not as bad as I originally thought it was going to be. I thought you were going to see sites just tank.
But also, in regards to the other Google search features, all of the features that we see don't necessarily stick around for a while. They test like that video carousel issue that they had that popped up for a month, and I don't think I've seen that since.
Oh yeah, I remember we spoke about
yeah. So it may seem like you're seeing all these different kinds of rich snippets and SERP cards and all this stuff, but how often do you see the same one consistently? I would say not often. You know, they're doing their own split testing to see what's best for different verticals and different SERPs. But what appears one day is not always going to be there for the long haul.
I think it's just going to depend on your industry. Like some industries are going to move towards different types of searching and instant answers being important. Like weather, I'm sure sucks now for weather sites compared to the traffic they used to be able to get.
Yeah.
But in other industries where people really want to read something, like if I search for, I'm trying to think of something, you know, like, you know, is water birth safe? I don't just want to read a quick answer, yes or no.
Right.
Like you want to read a doctor on a proper site writing something about it. So you're going to look for what looks like the most authoritative thing from a doctor about it and read it on one of the sites that you trust, whether that's the NHS in the UK or some equivalent source in the US. So it's going to just vary by, not obviously that's two ridiculously opposite extreme examples. But
well, it's kind of similar to the last article where they showed that commercial searches were less correlated with backlinks than informational searches. I'm sure it's the same thing here with you know, rich snippets and all the other search features. You're going to get a lot more in commercial searches than info searches.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that seems like a pretty good result. It's good to see that SparkToro is keeping focused on their core mission of revolutionizing influencer marketing.
Oh, let's check out where SparkToro Net is ranked.
Are you still following the move?
Yeah. Let's see here. I
love how that was the news story before the brand of the week. Like it's
let's see. I know they were at like spot like 15 or 17. Wow, I don't even see it on page 3. Yeah, I'm not even seeing it. Maybe Rand successfully influenced SparkToro.net out of the SERPs.
I think it was some of the degenerates of the sea up to some black voodoo SEO tactics.
Yeah.
So the Rand of the week, Rand actually retweeted something funny. Just Corsair made some kind of meme mocking Chrome's memory use,
which is actually pretty funny. I thought it was a funny little commercial or whatever it is.
Well, they're just, you know, jumping on people's hatred of Chrome's current performance issues, and it's like the Cookie Monster for memory chips.
Looks like last year I switched over to Chrome because I can't remember why Firefox pissed me off. And then all of a sudden, a couple months ago, Chrome started getting really bad for me for using RAM. Yeah, I'll go back to Firefox. Fuck it. They have the new version of their browser out. Firefox is using more fucking RAM than Chrome was. And it was like, I have 16 gigs of RAM on my desktop, and I'm using 10.
Yeah.
Oh, the Hopster's a Mac boy.
Yeah, he's
Safari Life. Yeah, that's a quality browser right there. Jesus.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it's better than Chrome and Firefox.
I've never even used it outside of using it on my phone.
I was talking to Mark, and he has like 7 browsers that I've never heard of. I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I was using like Moonbeam." I'm like, "It's not the real name." I was like,
I tried using Opera. That thing was a piece of shit. I tried some other really obscure couple other ones. And
it kind of seems like that Firefox and Chrome just kind of flip-flop on the memory issue. Because I did leave Firefox a couple years ago for Chrome because of that, because it was just destroying my memory. But now it's like Chrome is doing the same thing, so I might have to go back. What's
like when I was honest to God talking to Garrett about getting 64 gigs of RAM, because like, you know, I've got Slack with 7 chats open, and I've always got like 3 browsers open that I use for different things. And I thought when I got this PC, 8 gigs of RAM was plenty, but it's always like running out.
Yeah.
Or like all used. I ended up not bothering. I just got like increased the swap on my SSD, and that seems to have solved all the issues. But it's kind of ridiculous that running a chat app and a couple of text pages with 4 pictures on, these fucking apps manage to use like, oh, that tab needs 500 meg. Like, go fuck yourself. It needs 500.
I mean, right now I'm using 9 gigs of RAM, 3 of which is for Chrome. So you throw Slack in there, that's another half a gig.
AK87 rightly points out the solution to it all is, and this is what's mad about it. Like, so you have all the stuff open, close it all, reopen it, immediately click the restore previous session thing, and you're using 1 gig of RAM. Like he said, leave it a couple of weeks, you're using 16 gigs. So yeah, AK87, close it all down, reopen it, and you get your memory back, which is what makes it so stupid. It's they're leaking so much memory.
Unfortunately, that doesn't help me on Windows.
Oh, that works on
when I'm done for the day. When I close, maybe I have just an issue with my computer, but I close everything when I'm done.
No, I've got the same 16 gigabytes, and I'm looking right now, and I'm at 60% capacity, so I'm using 9.5.
You can tell Linux and Mac is more stable than Windows though, because AK87's on Mac and he's closing his browser every couple of weeks. I'm on Linux, I reboot once every 3 months. And Windows, it's like I close everything down every day.
Yeah, I never reboot my machine unless I have to do an update or something. But right now I've got 4 gigabytes of RAM being hogged by Chrome, and then everything else is like 10 or 15 megabytes. That makes up the rest. So it's just a browser issue. It would be great if a third-party company could create like an add-on or something that just plugged that hole. But
I imagine it's a pretty core hole.
Yeah.
And of course, people's JavaScript can cause memory leaks that is supposed to be not possible, but sloppy code can cause problems, and all kinds of things can cause problems, such as leak memory. And I know one of the big trading platforms, a friend of mine trades on it all the time, and he has to close it down every 3-4 hours because it's just leaking so much memory. And it's like this is a trading platform.
It's insane.
So it's just madness, man.
Anyway, degenerates of the sea, am I right?
I already beat you.
Fuck you.
Yeah, have you not noticed me like dropping it in 15 times immediately after Garrett won? Like, I just gave up. It's like, damn it! I've had my 1 win for 12 months, so I'm done now for a year. I'm never going to win again. So the main topic, it was a question actually. So I've been sharing a bit more stuff about influencer marketing on social, and someone. I should have told him to watch the show. I didn't think at the time I was going to answer it on the show, but no one else has sent in any questions. So this was the only question I got on social this week. Hit me up on @SD_Brownlee. That's Brown, then lie like lie down, on Twitter with any questions, and I will answer them. We'll answer them on the show. It's the main topic, but we'll pick one if we get more than one. But we're just talking about influencer marketing, and the problem he was having with his agency's clients expecting kind of guarantees or minimums or figuring out what they should pay influencers. There's a really simple way you can work out how much you should pay an influencer. So let's just keep it really simple and say we're going to pay a Facebook influencer. We're not going to get anything else out of it. And we run a company where we run Facebook ads loads, and we're trying to get some optimization, save some money by working with influencers where we can get the reach for cheaper. You get 1,000 impressions, and that usually gets us 10 clicks and 1 conversion, just to use 100% round numbers. And that costs us $10, say, I guess. I don't know. Probably less, but just stick to the round numbers. So then we get an influencer says, I want $200 to share your stuff on Facebook. So what you want to look at is how many people typically view one of their commercial pieces of content. You need to get them to share the data with you. And say they typically get 20,000 views on a piece of commercial content that they endorse and share on Facebook. So you've worked out that you currently pay for 1,000 $10, for 20,000 $200 is par if you assume the performance will be equal. If they were offering you the placement for $100, you're saving 50% to reach the same number of people. You've then got to think about, is this person going to add or subtract anything? So if they're a really general influencer and they're not hitting your exact audience, then $200 suddenly becomes overpriced. Even though you're going to reach the same number of people as you would have reached, your conversion rate's going to be lower because they're too general. But say you're a cryptocurrency mining rig manufacturer, just whatever, and this guy is a tech influencer who has a lot of crypto followers and talks about crypto all the time. His audience is perfect for you, and if he recommends your particular rig or discusses the benefits of your rig in a quick 30-second video post to Facebook, that might actually, he's reaching the same people that you could reach with ads directly, but the extra trust he has with the audience might mean that $200 is actually cheap, because instead of 1 conversion per 1,000, you might get 2.
You should code up a little calculator to maybe sell as a little product that does this.
How do you do the subjective part, though? The bit where you look at figuring out that's the challenge. But that's how you evaluate it. You look at your, if you've never advertised on social, then you have no benchmark. You don't know how well your landing page is going to convert from social traffic. You don't know how many impressions you need to get X number of clicks to get X number of conversions. If you have no data, you can, by all means, test influencers, but you're not going to know how it's going to perform. If you've advertised on the platform that you're looking to get traffic on with the influencer, then you've got a benchmark for, I shouldn't pay more than $200 typically for that many views.
Right.
Now, you're not guaranteed that every one of their posts is going to do just as well. Like, your post might be so lame, the thing that you pay them to share, that your campaign might suck, and then you'll get less views and your $200 will be wasted. But if your campaign's solid, it's of interest to their audience, and it performs typically, you know that $200 is your par price if they're exactly equal. If they add benefits through relevance, authority, recommending you, then $200 becomes cheap. If they're too general, then $200 becomes too expensive. But it's your starting point as a par price based on your existing advertising stats. So that's kind of how you start. But the beauty of influencers is they come with multiple benefits. Some of them will give you a post on their website too for free as part of the overall package. So you're paying them for Facebook, but they'll also put a blog post up. That blog post might link to your site. Now, obviously, there's arguments about whether you should do that for SEO. It's a paid link, blah, 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 blah.
What would you suggest as far as an amount of time to do this analysis? Should somebody be spending as much time as it takes to figure out the best influencer to go with, if any, or is this something that they should spend like an hour on to figure out?
Well, per influencer, 5 minutes, because you're just going to ask them for their stats and their previous performance, and you can see what the typical reach is, and you can make a view on what type of content they share pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So definitely a quick decision. In terms of the extra benefits, you want to try and get as many as possible. Like, do they have a mailing list and they'll just drop you a quick mention of you in the list? You know, maybe that's an extra 300 clicks for free. You know, because you're not going to pay them to do like a proper email promotion. Being like, oh, you can just throw me in as the ad as well at the bottom of your email list. So instead of trying to get them to come down on price, you establish that, okay, yeah, they're par. I don't think they add much value, so I'm getting just my $200 worth. Try and get them to throw some stuff in. Like, what benefit is it to you to try and get $30 off? They don't really want to give you $30 off, but they might throw you something else that doesn't cost them anything.
Right, because they just want the dollar. They don't really care. It doesn't cost them anything to add you to email.
Yeah, they've decided they charge $200 to work with a brand. You don't want to try and get them to push the price down if you can get more value. Like $40 is worth nothing to you. Another 300 clicks is 0.3 of a conversion. If your conversions are $1,000, it's $300 value. And in the long run, you do that across 100 influencers, that's worth way more to you than saving $40 or saving $60 even on one particular. So you got to know your own maths. You got to know your advertising team should know all those numbers for your campaigns. So that's how you work it out for influencers. There's no witchcraft. There's just none of that. It's just the same as your paid advertising. You're looking at their reach that they typically get, and you're looking at your performance converting your product. They'll usually do better, and you'll usually be able to save money compared with paying for advertising, and that's the beauty of influencer marketing, obviously. But that's it, really.
Cool, man. That's some good info right there.
I will try and share more influencer stuff once a month, probably. Not going to be doing it every show, but now and then if we get a good question, I'll do something.
Cool.
Like Joe Sinkwitz said, I forgot to mention, I had this in my notes to mention it. Joe Sinkwitz did his influencer marketing is the new link buying presentation on last year's 24 hours of SEO. So if you want to use it to buy links, watch Joe's presentation on YouTube. You can just search for it, 24 hours of SEO, Joe Sinkwitz, link buying.
Cool.
Influencer marketing. But yeah, you can definitely use influencers to buy links.
Interesting.
Whether you should or not is up to you. It's your risk tolerance and so on.
I thought we had a review today. Did you guys just delete that, Garrett?
I didn't delete it. There's a don't tweet this.
Oh, there's a don't tweet this. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Grindstone SEO had an epic 57 tweet storm. It's kind of interesting. Some pretty, some of it's going to be kind of known stuff, solved information, but there's some little nuances he picks up on doing a really detailed analysis with SERPRU and the dates that he found links going live on Ahrefs, and he monitored it for a specific set of sites and a specific niche and followed what happened when links went down. There's a lot of cool stuff in there.
Is that his pinned tweet?
I don't know if it's pinned.
Okay.
He probably has pinned it, but it's 57 tweets long, so you'll know if it's the right one. It's really recent though. If you if you hit Twitter now and go to Grindstone SEO, you'll find it. It's definitely worth a read. I'm not going to spoil it because different people will take different things from it depending on what you already know. But
he just showed up on my Facebook wall today. He just like pops up out of nowhere. Like I won't hear from him for like 6 months, and then he just shows up with 57 tweets.
It sounds like this took 6 months of hard work. So
yeah,
pretty cool of him to share it at all. But yeah, no, I mean He's put a lot into this. It shows one of the main powers of SERPBrew, and one of the reasons I always say to people you should dump things on SERPBrew, even if you're not looking at SERPBrew all the time, because you're going to be like, oh, where did this competitor come from? And you're actually going to be, if you've already got the keyword in SERPBrew being monitored for your space 100 deep, you can look back to when they were 80th on Google and what they did then to get to 60th, what they were doing. You can really go back in history, a combination of SERPBrew, the Wayback Machine, Ahrefs, their link history. You can actually do this kind of analysis that Grindstone's done for yourself with SERPBrew. And I think there's another tool that gives you that kind of historic data and power to, when you pick a competitor up, like, where the fuck did this guy come from? You can actually reverse engineer the whole thing thanks to SERPBrew's historic data if you've already put the keywords in. So SERPBrew is useful to you even if you don't look at it until you're interested in something. So I thought this was kind of a really good illustration of that.
Yeah, I got to read this now.
Yeah, definitely worth a read. Definitely worth a read. And I only picked it up because Garrett was chatting to Grindstone about something else, and then I just noticed he'd started this tweet storm in his feed, and I was like, wait a minute, I'll check this out. So yeah, that's definitely worth a read. Jump on that for sure.
Cool.
That'll be more like, if you watch the whole show just to get that tip, it'll probably be more useful to you than anything else we've done on the show, except the influencer thing, of course, where I became the only person in the world to tell you how to price an influencer, because everyone seems to think it's some kind of dark art where you guess the price out of your experience. Like, there's no experience in it. It's numbers. We're in marketing, not witchcraft.
It's amazing how many marketers don't have a handle on basic marketing numbers.
Well, it's the same people who will do a pay-per-click campaign and they'll optimize everything and they'll understand like every keyword to the penny. And then they move to a new field like influencers and they're trying to pick who to work with. And they're just bamboozled by nonsense numbers like audience size. Who gives a fuck how many followers they've got? Yeah. When they share a commercial piece in the past that they've been paid for, what reach does that get? How does that perform? Then compare that to the reach and numbers you need when you pay for it, and you can work out a baseline maximum that you should pay. But people look at all the wrong numbers. How many followers they've got? Who cares? There's people with less followers than me on LinkedIn who get massive, crazy responses when they post something, because they're all like touchy-feely and emotional, and I'm tweeting about how to price up an influencer. Sorry, LinkedIning or whatever the word is on LinkedIn. What would you say on LinkedIn? They don't have a. That's their problem. They don't have a cool thing. You don't say I LinkedIn something. Like, you know, you can say I tweeted this out. What do you say for LinkedIn? Got to work. I'm guessing the branding's not going to get any better now that it's owned by Microsoft, though. So
yeah,
rest in peace, LinkedIn.
I've never used LinkedIn for any. You've been bigger on LinkedIn than I am.
We get quite a bit of business on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
it's weird though. You post something, you get one piece of business. I've yet to ever get two pieces of business from a post, but for 10 minutes work,
not too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah, it's not everything I post. Like, lots of things I post are just silly or random chat or whatever. But if I put some time into posting something useful, it almost always gets some business.
Cool.
So yeah, I'd get on LinkedIn if I was you, Ben.
I'm on LinkedIn, but it's
I mean I would get on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I hear you.
I would have a profile and click like now and then. It's a good platform for. It's a good platform for B2B, and it's a good platform for things like what we do, where it's we offer services that are clearly defined, like people know what they're buying. I think it's really difficult to break through explaining something weird and new on LinkedIn, but it's like you do words, we do links. You're just getting in front of people,
right?
And they can check you out if they feel like it. If you get a few thousand reach from a post, a few of those will check you out. Like 100 people checked out my profile this week, so I've been a bit more active.
Nice.
A few of them get in touch about business. and it's like 10 minutes a day's effort.
That's worth it.
Yeah. Get on it. Give it a whirl. You'll be more interesting than me anyway. You're a writer, so you should be like busting out some inspirational. You'll be able to teach me how to do it properly once you jump on now.
Man, I would love to write some blog posts, some strategy blog posts, but I just don't have the time these days. I was guest posting so much at the beginning of last year.
You only get 1,355 characters on a update. So
I gotta have some seriously concise tips.
Yeah. It's pretty tight.
But they have like a feature or like a blog.
Oh, they've buried that though. It doesn't get it doesn't get the exposure that it used to.
Oh, okay.
There was a time when that was just huge. So people were posting updates saying, "Oh, I've just written an article," because the articles don't do as well as they used to.
Yeah, Facebook used to have the notes feature, and you would have like a notepad with all your entries on it. But I don't even know if that's still around.
The Hobster likes our new feature where he can see who's talking instead of. I like it too. I think the show looks a lot nicer this way.
I didn't do shit, Jared.
Yeah.
No. Garrett set this all up. Don't. He's too modest. Like we were in a conversation today, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we don't really know anything about finance." And it's like we've worked for 5 of the biggest finance affiliate sites in the world. And so yeah, we don't really know much about finance. It's like I don't know what it would take for Garrett to ever big himself up, but it's yet to happen.
All right, I think we're good.
Yeah, another show next week.
Yeah, let's get two shows in a row now.
No, three. We did one last week.
Yeah, let's get Ben 2 shows in a row right now, and then we'll call it a trend.
And then you'll be on a train for show number 3, and we'll have to mock you again.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We got 9 people made it to the end.
Thank you, 9 friends.
Yeah, thank you, 9 friends.
Hopefully we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right.
Adios.